Hello and welcome to a look at a fighting warrior for the Commodore 64, a game that was released by Melbourne House. In a fighting warrior, your beloved princess Thea has been kidnapped by the evil, nasty, naughty, probably suave-looking pharaoh, who intends to use her as a sacrifice for the gods by burying her alive. You can't find a shovel, so in order to prevent her from being buried in the first place, you rush out and decide to defeat various enemies on the way, hoping to reach the temple and, of course, free the princess. The shovel bit is my invention, by the way, it's not official in the manual, but regardless, I tried to make it funny, probably fail. On your way to the temple, you have to fight various individuals, and the fighting consists of 3 moves. You can slash high, slash mid, or slash low. When fighting, you can try to avoid getting hit by ducking, jumping, moving back, all sorts of things, but ultimately there is no true way to defend yourself except for hoping that the hit detection is actually in your favor, because it can be a bit interesting. Every single time you defeat an enemy, they will leave behind an urn, vase kind of thing that you can destroy for a magical effect. The magical effects ranges from very, very good to very, very absolutely horribly bad for you. And since there's no indication of any difference between the vases, you basically have to do trial and error. I can alleviate the issue by saying that there are 8 vases, urns, whatever you call them, and 2, 3, 5, and 6 are good. The rest are not. But the thing is, of course, you have to keep a mental track of the different urns, because there's no visual difference between one or another. So something I found as well is that the number is set between screens. So in this area, when we got to the temple bit, or a temple bit I should rather say, the urn, vase, whatever you call them, counter resets. If you destroy the first urn, you will spawn a winged demon thing, and after playing numerous games, I destroyed the first urn on different screens, and it always made the next opponent be a winged demon. So I assume the vase rotation resets. As you may have gathered by what was happening earlier, when I destroyed one of the urns, it actually opened an entryway into this temple kind of pyramid bit, whatever it is. So let's talk graphics and sound and controls. The graphics has a distinct Melbourne House feel to it. There was a certain uniqueness in most of the games they released in the graphical style. A bit coarse, but not bad looking. I mean, remember there was the company that released Way of Exploding Fist and Rock and Wrestle, a game I haven't covered yet because I suck at it. The animations was not exactly having the most frames in the world, but it's quite well done. I have to admit there is a certain satisfaction with the slash to the head, which reminds me somewhat of a attempted home run swing from baseball. The main character looks a bit stodgy and a bit stiff. and the enemies are either humanoid or demonoid or doginoid or whatever noid they may be. At least they look unique enough that you can easily distinguish one type of enemy from another. And of course they have various attacks as well, which are animated at roughly the same quality or lack of quality, or whatever you decide to call it, as the main character. The backgrounds are rather bare-boned, but they serve the purpose they need to serve. When it comes to the sound, the music is very decent. It gives you that Egyptian kind of vibe, and it's acceptable to listen to for extended periods of time without necessarily getting grating, so I have no complaints about the music. The sound effects are fairly okay, but I have a nagging suspicion that if you were to play this game on a old-style Redbox Commodore 64, the sound effects would be significantly louder, because they seem to be in the same venue as the hit sounds from Way of the Exploding Fist. The controls are fairly responsive and relatively simple. Right to move right, left to move left, down to duck, up to jump, and when you are in fighting aggressive style, fire up to do high slash, fire and right to do mid slash, and fire and down to do a low slash. That's all there is to it. There's no block, there's no guard, there's no nothing else, and that is one of the many reasons that my conclusion about this game is going to be what it is. I found the fighting initially very enjoyable and very cool and exciting, and I was half giggling when I was smacking my enemies in the face with my sword. But to be honest, the excitement from my point of view at least dropped relatively quickly. And due to that, because the game is all about fighting basically, it didn't have an awful lot left to offer me. The fact that there's no indication of any difference between the vases, urns, whatever they are, meaning that you basically have to keep track of them yourself, which, I mean, it's not the most complicated keeping track of 1 to 8, but at the same time, it's a nuisance. There should be some sort of way to distinguish them. I'm not saying that it should indicate, hey, this is a good urn, this is a bad urn, but just a slight color difference so you knew it was a different one. Some sort of sound to confirm that you actually smashed the urn and it didn't just despawn because you spent too long time flashing your sword at it would help as well. But the overriding factor for me is the fact that the hit detection can be a bit hit and miss, pun intended. So sometimes you score hits when you don't think you would score hits, and sometimes you don't score hits when you are quite sure you would. Overall, it's a decent game, but I found it tedious relatively quickly. So on that note, thanks for watching, take care, see you next time, bye bye for now.